Okay, we can wait a little bit for the rest of the people. 5 minutes, okay?
Okay, teacher, no problem.
Okay. Okay, Stephanie, I think we can start the class right now. Um, in this moment, I will show you my presentation screen. So I will make my presentation. My name is Lina Maria Sepúlveda, and this is the course Intermediate English 1. So I have a set of rules for this course. I hope that you can be punctually because for me it's important. You can turn your microphone on off during the class. The silent environment to avoid interruptions have to be important in this class. And I want you to be focused only in the lesson because it's important for you and for me also. Check the link or message to join the encounters in Google Hangouts. I will send the message 1 hour before the class starts. Don't worry if you make mistakes during the lessons, during the class, because for me it's not a problem. Actually, we are learning, so it doesn't matter if you are making some mistakes, no problem. And I know that you have the characterization form. I think you already did, so it's okay. So now I want you to introduce myself. My name is Lina Maria Sepúlveda. I live in Tunja, but I am from Sogamoso. I'm married. I have 2 children. I live with my husband, my 2 kids, and my mom. In this moment, I am studying the 10th semester of my degree in English as a foreign language. And in this moment, I am your tutor for this course in these sessions, okay?
Okay, teacher.
So now you can introduce yourself, please.
Okay. My name is Stephanie Acevedo Castañeda. I'm 25 years old. I teach basic English to young children. I love learning foreign languages such as Portuguese, Italian, German, and obviously English. Also, I'm a girl that enjoys a lot to spend time with family or staying in home reading a good book and watching series. I live in San Pedro Valle del Cauca with my family, my grandparents, and my mom. No more. I am in fifth semester or fifth semester.
You can say 5 or 5.
Okay. I feel a little nervous because I think my speaking is so I don't feel confident with
Okay.
the speaking English.
Yes. For sure, we are going to talk too much here in our session, so you can improve yourself speaking with the session. So don't worry about that. The main objective of this session is try to speak and to talk because for most of the people, they are afraid speaking English. So this is our goal in this moment, okay?
Okay, teacher, thanks.
Okay. So I have a video here. But for sure you already know this, but still I want to share with you this video, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Can you turn off your microphone, please?
Hi, I'm Zoe and I'm a digital nomad. I quit the rat race to pursue my dreams. Now, hi, I'm Rebecca from Ingvid.com. In this lesson, you will learn how to introduce yourself and also how to introduce people who don't know each other. Now, sometimes you learn a lot of English and you still feel nervous. You don't feel confident doing simple things. So this is one of those simple but important things that you need to be able to do. To be able to walk up to someone, to introduce yourself, and also to know how to respond when someone does that. And that may be true whether you're at a business conference or at a party. Okay, so let's get started. So here, first, we'll talk about the formal situation. So let's say we'll start over here. Hello, I'm Bill White. The response is, hi, I'm Susan Jones. So he says then, it's a pleasure to meet you. And she says, it's a pleasure to meet you too. Okay? Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Why? Because especially at this part, you're just repeating what the other person says, except that you're adding the word to. Okay? Let's try it again. Hello, I'm Bill White. Now, at that point, you probably want to also shake hands. So let me mention that. So the things that you should do in addition to what you're going to say are these things. You should try to maintain a straight posture because you look more professional that way, especially in a business situation. In a North American context, also, we establish eye contact. All right, that shows that we're not afraid. That shows we're not hiding anything. All right, shows confidence. And you want to give a firm handshake. Okay, don't keep your hand really weak. Keep it firm, not hard. Don't squeeze the other person's hand, but make a firm handshake. And this is true whether you're a man or a woman. And usually we smile because it's a little bit, it shows that you're a friendly person and you're happy to meet the other person, even in a business situation. So let's get started. And what I was saying is about the handshake, you could shake hands right here. So you could say, hello, I'm Bill White. Or you could say it at this point when you say, it's a pleasure to meet you. Okay? Hello, I'm Bill White. Hi, I'm Susan Jones. It's a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you too. And if you want, one thing you can do is to mention the person's name when you're saying it's a pleasure to meet you, okay? But sometimes in a business context, you're not yet sure whether to say Ms. Jones or Susan, so you could try it. And you could say, it's a pleasure to meet you, Ms. Jones. And she might say, oh, you can call me Susan. It's a pleasure to meet you too. And so on, okay? But main thing is, this part is just repeated. Next, in an informal situation. So here, instead of saying hello, we're just going to say hi. Hi, I'm George. Hi, I'm Maria. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Again, we're just repeating. So what happened? Here, it's a little more formal. So we said, it's a pleasure to meet you. And here, because it's informal, we just said, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Okay? So just repeat that. And also, instead of hello, we're just saying hi. All right? Hi, I'm George. Hi, I'm Maria. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Okay? So try that. Next, I'll show you how to introduce people who don't know each other. So let's see how to introduce people to each other. First, we'll do this in a formal situation, okay? So let's pretend in this scenario that there are three people. You are Carol Smith, and you know Scott Topper, and you know Stephen Shaw, but they don't know each other. But you don't know that, so you have to find out first, because sometimes people do know each other. So Carol is going to speak first. So Carol knows both of them, all right? So she says, Carol Smith says, have you met each other? So let's say she turns to one of them or to either of them, and she says, so Scott answers, and he says, no, we haven't. Sometimes this person will answer, sometimes both of those people will answer kind of at the same time, say, no, we haven't. Doesn't matter. And then Carol says, if it's a formal situation, Mr. Topper, this is Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, this is Mr. Topper. Now, sometimes this part is not necessary because it's kind of obvious. So usually if you just say the first part, people will start introducing themselves then to each other or continue with the pleasure to meet you. But if you want to know the traditional way in which it's done like that. Okay, so Mr. Topper, this is Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, this is Mr. Topper. And at that point also, when you're deciding whose name to say first, some of the rules of protocol are that if there is an older person and a younger person, you introduce the older person to the younger person. Okay, so let's say in this situation that Mr. Topper is older, and then you would say Mr. Topper's name first. If they're both about the same age, it doesn't matter. Okay? So then Mr. Topper, remember the earlier lessons we learned, what we learned just now, the expression, it's a pleasure to meet you. And Shaw says, pleasure to meet you too. Okay? You You don't always have to repeat the entire expression, it's a pleasure to meet you. Even in a formal situation, it's fine to say, pleasure to meet you too, because that's the critical part. All right? So now that's the formal scenario. Let's go through it one more time. Have you met each other? No, we haven't. Mr. Topper, this is Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, Mr. Topper, it's a pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you too. And remember, at this point, when Mr. Topper says, it's a pleasure to meet you, that's when Mr. Topper will put out his hand for the handshake, and Stephen Shaw will take his hand and shake his hand. Now, if it's an informal situation, it's pretty much the same way at the beginning. Have you met each other? No, we haven't. So then he can say, Scott, this is Stephen. Stephen, this is Scott. And then they will use the informal expressions. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Okay? So these expressions, pleasure to meet you, nice to meet you, they can take you a long way in introducing yourself and introducing others. Now, of course, there are many ways to introduce yourself. Not only what I've said here, not only what I've taught you here, but I always advise my students that it's better to learn one way properly than to learn 3 different ways and then get mixed up. Okay? So make sure you have mastered one way to introduce yourself and to introduce other people, and then you could move on to other variations, because you are definitely going to hear a variety of variations on this. Okay? So if you'd like to practice this a little bit, go to our website, www.ingvid.com, and you can do a quiz on how to introduce yourself and how to introduce other people. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.
Okay. Here.
At that point, also, when you're deciding whose name to
when we are in the British culture, and they are 3 persons, always the first person who is introducing to someone else, she or he can say something about the other person. For example, this is Mr. Topper. He is a lawyer and he likes to read books, for example. So this is important in a British culture. But in American culture, it's just to introduce yourself, and the rest, they are going to start to talk about something. Okay? So now, here we have some topics that we can talk with our students. For example, hi, my name is, I come from, there are 3 people on my family or persons. My favorite subject is math, for example. My hobbies are ride a bike. My favorite food is blah, blah, blah. So we have a lot of different things that we can talk with our students in a class, okay? So now, who is there? Marelvis?
Hi, teacher. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Fine. I'm late.
It's okay. No. It's okay. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Marel Vicente Palza. I'm from Barranquilla. I have 34 years old. I'm married. I have 2 children. My favorite color is red. My hobbies are read and I do exercise. It's on.
Okay. 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 I hope you will find this class and these sessions interesting. My major goal here is try to speak This is the purpose of these classes. Okay, so now
Okay.
I will show you the topic for today, the cultural events. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you turn off your microphone, Marelvis, please? Stephanie, you can turn your microphone off too. Okay, the topic for today is cultural events. Cultural events, the benefits of learning about other cultures. Culture is all around us, from the food we eat and how we eat it, to what we wear, as well as in our individual and collective histories. It plays a role in how we communicate with each other too, which is why bringing culture into the language classroom is important. Giving students a cultural context in addition to language can help them visualize how language is used, and more importantly, for language teachers can help answer the age-old question of why a language does what it does. So now, how can you implement the culture in your English class? I want you to write the answer into the chat. Mhm. Okay. Okay. How can you implement the culture in your English class when you become a teacher or if you are a teacher, English teacher? So can you write it into the chat, please, Stephanie and Marelvis?
Teacher, I'm here again.
Yes?
I'm here again. So I can see the video, please.
No, we are already in another topic. Don't worry about the video. It's about the
Okay.
how you
Okay.
introduce yourself. Don't worry. And now
Okay.
we are going to talk about cultural events. So I want you to write in the chat, how can you implement the culture in your English class? Write your answer in the chat, please.
What implements?
Yes. How can you implement, or what kind of activities do you want to share with your students about culture?
Okay, teacher.
Okay. Okay, Marilby says, we implement other cultures when we talk about different events and their celebrations and we speak in another language. Yes, it's true. It's important this kind of topic for our students because it's not the same the culture than here. For example, I am in Tunja in this moment, that in the coast in Barranquilla, for example, it's not the same. So we often we need to talk about this topic. Okay. So I don't see Stephanie anymore. Okay. Let me share again my screen. Okay. And now I want to talk about the top 5 customs and tradition in Colombian culture. This is a page from Colombia Co about our traditions. So let me read a little bit. Colombia is a fascinating country that blends together the traditions of its European, African, and indigenous roots, while constantly creating new customs to keep its culture unique. Here are 5 Colombian culture tips that explain what makes the country magical. Colombian culture is a blend of its many and varied roots, and there are many aspects to its customs and traditions that are unique to its shores, and which captivity of thousands of visitors who travel to Colombia every year. So the first one is parties and festivals. The second one, the pot gathering, el paseo de olla. The third one, traditional grandmother remedies. Four, Christmas and holiday customs. Dance, the five. Okay, the fifth one. So, okay. Marelvis, which parties or festivals do you know here in Colombia?
In Colombia, we celebrate Carnival. Um, no.
In Barranquilla, we have one carnival, remember?
Yes, Barranquilla.
And what they do?
Sorry, teacher.
In the carnival, what they drink, they are doing some stuff like what?
Well, in the carnival, the people drink and dance, go to the bars.
Okay, very good. What about you, Stephanie?
Tell me, teacher.
What parties or festivals do you know in Colombia?
Well, how do you say ferias? Feri? I don't know. Cali?
Yes,
How do you say ferias, teacher? I don't remember.
no, me corchaste.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. I am looking for.
Okay, ferias. Okay, This in the translator says fair. Fair. Stephanie? Okay, Stephanie's gone, but she write to work culture topic in the classroom. We can use videos about these stories, legends, myths. Also, we can read some articles and answer questions to do brainstorming. I have okay. She says she have a terrible connection. It's okay, Stephanie. Don't worry about that.
I don't know what happened with my internet today, teacher. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about that. Maybe you can use a connection because with the Wi-Fi is difficult.
Yeah. So I say that I mentioned I did mention about ferias. I don't know how to say.
There.
In Cali, in Pasto, black and white people.
Yeah.
Flowers in Medellin.
Yes. Actually, we have a lot of different carnivals and stuff like that. So now the pot gathering, el paseo de olla. Um, did you been in a paseo de olla, the pot gathering, Stephanie? I guess Stephanie's gone again. Mm, okay, what about you, Marelvis? Do you know the pot gathering?
No, teacher, because in Barranquilla the post gathering work is not a tradition.
Okay. For example, in my case, here we don't have the pot gathering because we don't have river. So we just usually going to a park and we make a picnic. It's almost the same. We share with our families. We eat delicious food, or we play some candy. Okay, but this is a cultural tradition in our country, in some places in our country. Okay. Marelvis, do you know some traditional grandmother remedies?
Yes, teacher. Mm, we celebrate grandmother in May. This tradition in all Colombia.
Like which one? Marelvis, do you remember one? Marelvis, do you remember one? I can hear you.
Sorry. Repeat the question, teacher. I don't listen. What?
It's okay. Let me share again my screen. And we can read. Traditional grandmother remedies. Do you know one?
Yes, teacher. Is celebrated in May.
Teacher, for example, my mother recommends me a lot of plants. I don't know how to say medical plants. And when I when I was sick, so but I don't know the names in English, such as uh, pico, albahaca, and these plants for the remedies.
Yes. For example, in my case, my father used to prepare for me hot orange in,
Ah, yeah,
in the kitchen with honey for my chest because I have always flu and stuff like that.
yeah,
So he prepared for me that. Okay,
or lemon too.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
This is very very nice for our when you are sick. So it's okay. The traditional grandmother remedies is a part of our culture too.
Yeah.
So it's important to still use this kind of remedies to pass to our next generation. It's important too. Okay. So
Yeah.
now we are going to talk about Christmas and holiday customs. So, do you know something or how do you um, celebrate this kind of Christmas in your city, Stephanie?
Well, in my city, the Central Park is decorate with lights, colors lights, and big dolls with lights too. And in the streets, the people do how do you say that? Um,
You can say in Spanish.
Parties and but that have a name. Verbenas. In
Yes,
my house, well, my family is very, how do you say that? Um, Quiet, calmada, relax with that. So maybe on 24th, December 24th, we only share the dinner, and after that go to bed. On the 24th,
okay, Stephanie. What about you, Marelvis?
Okay, teacher. At Christmas, my family is usually shared with the family and people decorate the house with lights. In my house is traditional the I don't know say novena de aguinaldos.
Yes, yes,
Mm, the 24 the diner
yes.
is all is very quiet my family.
Okay, okay. For example, here we also are very quiet. We don't celebrate with a big party, but we always try to make a delicious dinner special for that day, 24th of December and 31st also. And we just we are every single year we made the novena as you, and we eat delicious food and we shared with our family. Okay, so now we have the last one is dance. Marelvis, do you know some dance in Colombia that is part of our culture?
Yes, teacher, in Colombia, I think the people I love them.
Yes.
In my case, I love dance. I go with my husband sometime to dance.
What kind of music do you prefer?
I prefer vallenato.
Ah, okay, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, in my case, I prefer salsa music. I love it.
Mm.
Okay, let me check. Okay. Stephanie,
Yeah, I'm here.
okay, don't worry about that. What music do you prefer?
Wait, I am a crossover. I really like salsa music, vallenato, merengue. I really love rock, folk, metal. I don't like reggaeton. I hate it, to be honest. But I like the other genres. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so you are crossover. Okay,
yeah.
okay, very good. Let me share again my screen. Can you turn off your microphone, please? Okay. So I want you to describe different cultural events in your city, country, or a different place that you know. For example, we talk about the Barranquilla Carnival. And now, Marelvis, do you know another event in your country, for example?
Well, in Barranquilla, to celebrate the festival of jazz.
Ah, okay, very good. It's very
Sí,
interesting.
yes.
And how is the festival?
Well, here come different orchestras of jazz. In I have an cousin that cousin singer in this festival.
Oh, very good.
She she is the voice principal voice of Atlantic Jazz.
Oh, very nice. And what about you, Stephanie?
In my town, well, every year on June, we celebrate the town festival, and it's about symphonic. I don't know, say symphonic orchestra.
Yes,
It's a competition with bands of different parts of the country.
yes.
Um, the major brings, yeah, brings different singers and for example, and salsa singers or merengue singers or popular and something like that.
Okay, that sounds very good.
And there is a day when mm, there is a parade, a desfile. I don't know. I didn't remember with that. And the people dance, folklore, or traditional music, and that's great.
Okay. Desfile is a parade. Okay.
A parade. That. Thank you.
Okay. For example, in my country, in my city, in Tunja, we celebrate in August the Boyacencismo Day. It's a day when the people start to wear ruanas, alpargatas, and stuff like that. And we remember our culture. It's important for us. Don't forget our culture because it's part of our history. So it's interesting how we try to celebrate every August this event and remember our culture and be proud of it. Okay, so now
Okay.
can you turn off your microphone, please? Okay, Stephanie, can you turn your microphone off? Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
It's okay. Okay, now the family celebrations are a good way to get closer to our children and take advantage of these moments to make them participate in the meetings so we can increase the confidence and the knowledge we have about them. In addition, family celebrations are a good way to enhance a sense of celebration for children, which has, among others, these positive aspects as cognitive, emotional development, self esteem, values, etc. For example, here I have some examples. In South Korea, a birthday is celebrated in a restaurant. They usually try a special soup, chicken soup. This is a special just for that day. And they also sing a song like a happy birthday or something like that, but this is really special. The soup, the chicken soup is with ginseng and it's special just for that day. The Chinese New Year is a spring festival. This is, I guess, celebrate in February, I guess. And it's not the same than here. They are making a special presents and it's they have this animal names for the year, for example, the dog year or the pig year, stuff like that. So this is different than us. Um, and now I want to talk about Christmas Day in United States. For example, they don't celebrate the 24th like here in Colombia. They celebrate Christmas Day in 25th. They are celebrating and they open the gift and stuff like that. Okay? So now, how does your family celebrate some event? I want you to pick up one and explain about that celebration. Stephanie, please.
Yes, teacher. Whatever.
Yes.
Okay. For example, Mother's Day.
Yes.
My brother and I invitate our mom to eat in a restaurant. After, we always go to the cinema and see a good movie. Uh, she loves the action movies, so uh, we always see an action movie that day, or I don't know, a funny movie comics, something.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah. A funny movie, a movie. I don't know how to say.
Yes, funny.
Yes. Okay. And after that, my brother always buy clothes for my mom because, well, he has a how do you say stable
So,
stable job, so he has a lot of money, but I I don't have, but he is. So
okay,
we celebrate that way.
very good, interesting actually. And do you bring to her some flowers too?
And no, my mom doesn't like.
Okay, okay. And chocolates?
Ah, yeah, big chocolates, yes.
Okay, okay. Very good. What about you, Marelvis?
Well, teacher, in my house, the birthday are usually celebrate in home, sometimes in restaurant with different people, with my family. Um, the Mother Day generally celebrate with my brothers and my mothers.
Okay,
And the Children Days is very important for me. Uh, usually I celebrate with my children, taking them to the movies, to the parks. Yes.
okay, okay. For example, in my case, I have this Sunday my son's birthday. So I will try to make cake with the Spider-Man because he's obsessed with the Spider-Man right now. He's going to to have a small party because we don't have too much relatives here, but still we are going to make something for him. Okay. Now I want to talk about food. Here we have some different kind of food that it's also part of the culture of every country. For example, here we have different type of breakfast. English breakfast. It is a big meal. It includes such as eggs, tomatoes. Some people have milk and cereal. They like toast, pancakes, jam, or honey. They drink orange juice and coffee. The continental breakfast, it is a light breakfast. It includes various types of coffee, teas, juice, fruits, and all kind of pastries. French breakfast, it includes bread with ham or butter and sometimes croissants. They drink a cup of black coffee or hot chocolate. Children eat cereals. Hawaiian breakfast. It includes eggs, meat, hamburger or sausages, and rice. They eat tropical fruits, for example, papayas. They drink papaya or orange juice. And here in the other space, we have different kind of food. For example, from Italy, spaghetti, from and pizza. From Mexico, we have nachos, fajitas, from United States, we have hamburger gazpacho. From Greece, we have moussaka. From India, we have curry. Okay, we have a lot of different kind of food there. But now, what kind of breakfast do you like to eat in the morning, Stephanie?
Well, teacher, I really like scrambled eggs, maybe with ham. Yes.
Yes.
Pan de bonos, hot, a word,
Okay.
hot pan de bonos, and a cup of coffee with
Yes.
milk, or only coffee.
Or just black coffee.
Yeah, black coffee. Other days I really like to eat, for example, cereal with milk or yogurt,
Yes.
and some fruit, maybe apple and pineapple because I hate the papaya, so that fruit now.
Okay. Okay. Very good. What about you, Marelvis?
Well, teacher, I a little breakfast. Me, generally, in this moment, I eat green juice, fruit, bread, and coffee because right now I on the way fit.
Okay. So you don't like eggs?
No,
Okay.
But Marelvis, the eggs are very important for the protein.
Yes. In my case, I don't like too much eggs because I have the cholesterol high. So I have to eat just boiled or maybe scrambled, but just one or two per week. So okay, guys, this is the class. I hope you like the class. Do you want something to say about that?
Just teacher, please, my apologies because I don't know what happened with my internet today. Always works, but
It's
today not.
no,
I really like because, for example, I don't have the opportunity to practice my speaking, and I thank you a lot for this session.
okay. Don't worry about your connection. Always we have this kind of problems, so don't worry about that. But try to use um, the connection by cable because it's important.
Ah, okay, teacher, thank you.
Okay. What about you, Marelvis? What do you think about the class?
well, teacher, the class is good. It's good. Sorry. I like because in this moment I can practice my English, my listen and my speaking.
Okay.
Thank teacher.
Okay. Very good. So this is all for today. And I hope to see you in the next class. And I think it's the 22.
20 seconds? Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. Okay. So see you
Okay.
then and have a good day. Bye
Have a
bye.
Have
good
a
day
good day.
too, teacher.
Bye
Bye
bye,
bye.
teacher.
Blessings.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.